Attacks in South Africa have allegedly sparked anger in Nigeria. Protesters in the capital of Nigeria, Abuja, targeted the head office of South African telecoms company MTN in apparent retaliation for violence against Nigerians in South Africa. The protesters angrily shut down the building. In another separate protest, scores of people staged protests outside the SA embassy in the capital, Abuja, calling on authorities to stop attacks on African nationals. Earlier, my colleague Audrey Chimanda spoke to Emeka Ezinteje Collins. He's the spokesperson of the Nigerian Union of South Africa. Audrey began by asking him what he thinks of the protests at the MTN office in Abuja.
Like our Nigerian Union, South Africa, the umbrella organization of all Nigerians and Nigerian organizations in South Africa, we condemn in very strong terms the recent development and attacks against Nigerians in the Republic of South Africa. However, we still have confidence in the authorities and the government of South Africa to bring the situation under control.
We disagree with the minister, saying that it's businesses that are spoiling this. It's not businesses. Most foreigners in this country are entrepreneurs. And for this economy to be viable and vibrant, you need entrepreneurs to start business. Unless if he's talking about the corporate. But when you come at the corporate level, you find that foreign companies do not survive much here. Bureaucratic bottlenecks and corporate collusion scares them out. How many Nigerian big corporates have survived here? We don't believe from the stable of ADF that these attacks, like he said, is basically, you can't just see somebody and say he's undocumented. You can't just see somebody and say he's a drug dealer. You see, and even all these crimes are real, mob action is not a solution. South Africa has the adequate institutions to activate to tackle these challenges. What we are living in fear as we speak. We are living in fear as we speak. We don't know what tomorrow is going to be.
Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba blames small businesses and lack of effective policing for fueling the xenophobic violence that has recently erupted in various parts of the country. He says his department is engaging businesses to point out the challenge of failing to comply with the law. The solution, he says, would include regulation of small businesses and the enforcement of bylaws on undocumented workers. Gigaba warned against escalation of tensions between foreign nationals and South Africans, saying police are deployed in areas where violence is rife. Several houses suspected to be used as brothels and drug dens were burned down by angry community members in certain parts of Johannesburg earlier this month. The minister says that his department is systematically working on addressing immigration-related problems.
Or a foreign national. We led a government delegation with the Gauteng MEC for community safety to Rosettenville on Monday, 13 February, to make sure that law enforcement agencies are responding to issues raised by communities and to encourage dialogue between communities and authorities. Arrests have been made, among others, for alleged drug peddling and acts of public violence. We called for visible and effective policing precisely because failure to respond would be irresponsible in the extreme, as it would serve further to fuel tensions among communities. We called for compliance with the Constitution and other laws of the Republic and deportation of those who are undocumented.
We need the departments of small business, the municipalities to also come together, work with Home Affairs. Quite clearly, when you look at the complexity of these challenges that we are faced with in regard to the management of international migration, you realize that the Department of Home Affairs alone cannot carry this burden on its shoulders. Government is concerned about the application of business regulations and bylaws by municipalities, concerned about the fact that many of the foreign-owned shops keep there is a perception that they don't bank their money, but they keep it in the shops. And so criminals think if they attack those shops and kill the shopkeepers, they are going to find stashes of money lying in there. We need to address all of those concerns.